Hey everybody, this is Kara Crossway-Brindle here again with Supervisionary, talking about all things clinical supervision. There's a question that's come up in our community lately that I think is worth a video. The question is, how do you have healthy boundaries with leadership, specifically mental health leadership? This could be a group practice owner, a agency director, a clinical director, a supervisor. So this question is coming from a supervisee, consultee, or student when it comes to how do we navigate this. The fact that it is a question that's coming up tells me that we're still working as a whole on healthy boundaries and balance when it comes to the work that we do. So maybe we feel like there's a power dynamic, because there is, with our supervisor, agency director, group practice owner, where we feel like we have to tread lightly because we are working under them, for them, alongside them, under their license. And yet we want to make boundaries clear so that we don't burn out, dare I say, early in the profession. So I have some ideas for both supervisors and supervisees on this topic. Since supervisees were the ones to bring this to my attention, let's start with them. If you're a supervisee, I have 3 suggestions for you. Number 1, actually sit down and go over the expectations with your supervisor or this mental health leader that you're working with or for. So that could be everything from reviewing your contract to reiterating what's the time expectation for responding to a client, responding to a critical incident, responding to a supervisor or someone that you're working for when they have a question for you. Is the expectation that you respond within a certain number of hours? Do they expect 24 to 48 business hours for client response or re-engagement? When it comes to a critical incident, how quickly is immediate, or how much time do they expect for you to outreach them and call them if there's a concern? So just clarifying all of these things can help you have healthy boundaries with your supervisor, specifically if it's around them outreaching you and you're not working certain days of the week and you want them to recognize that you'll get back to them as soon as you're back on the clock. So that's one suggestion. Number 2 is to block out your calendar. So I'm talking, make sure that if you're working for someone else and they have access to your electronic health record, or they are someone who's scheduling new clients for you, that you're blocking out your calendar as when you're available and when you're not. So this is specific to client work, but also can help a supervisor jump into the calendar to say, I want to outreach you on something. Are you unavailable? Are you off the clock? Are you on vacation? Things like that. So that's suggestion number 2, is actually block out the times that you're in and available versus when you're not. Suggestion number 3 is all about using your out of office messages. So this could be on your work cell phone. It also should be on your email. So now it's really easy to toggle on and off an out of office message. It's no longer just for when you take vacations. Now it's also for when you're not in the office. So maybe your out of office pops up when you're checking out at 5 p.m. to say, hey, you've reached me out of my office hours. I will be back on X date. So a lot of our colleagues might say, I'm out on Fridays. I will respond to you on Monday. Maybe it's, I need 24 to 48 business hours to respond to you. I appreciate your patience. This is also an opportunity to use this service or this tool to put in resources for someone who's in crisis. So if they're outreaching you and you're not a crisis clinician, you're not a 24/7 available clinician, having those resources reiterated in this out of office message can help. So not only are we saying, I'm out of the office on Fridays, I'll get back to you Monday. If you're a client in crisis, dial 988, go to your nearest emergency room. Here's the crisis walk-in centers. Here's the text line. So you can list off some of those resources to give you peace of mind as a clinician as that person is seeking support. So those are 3 ideas for supervisees. On the supervisor side, it is also important to review expectations, right? So having the supervisor ask, when are you working? When are you not working? When are you typically working with clients? When are you out of the office? Yes, I get it. As a mental health leader myself, it's hard to keep track of everyone's schedules, but hopefully you are using some sort of scheduling program or EHR to make that easier for yourself, to see it visually of when so-and-so is in the office versus when they're not. So talking to an intern, a student, a supervisee, talking about their typical work schedule can be really helpful so that you then know when to outreach them and when not to respect healthy boundaries. The second suggestion is all about modeling. So as mental health leaders, it's up to us to model good boundaries. So even if we have an idea or a question or something that pops up at 10 o'clock at night, there's this wonderful thing called the schedule feature in your email where you can type up or draft it so it's off your mind as a leader, but still popping into someone's inbox in a timely fashion. That's not 10 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock in the morning, or any other time that your entrepreneurial spirit dictates. So now you might be organizing some things late into the night because that's part of what you do, but you're not modeling to your team members or your supervisees that they should respond to you. So this comes from a place that we know that everyone is expecting a response to email similar to a text message. And what does that mean? It means fast. So now we're expecting people to respond to emails within 6 minutes, just like we would expect to a text message. Problematic if you're texting or emailing me at 10 o'clock at night. I'm not answering, I'm asleep. So by utilizing this schedule feature in your email, you could get something out of your mind and then have it pop into one of your supervisees' inboxes at an appropriate hour, whether that starts at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. when business hours start. That's something that you can utilize as a leader. The third thing is a vulnerability piece, which is to ask for feedback. How is this working out with your supervisee? So why do I put this as number 3? Because sometimes we just need to clarify if we made a mistake. If you have multiple people that you're working with, you're leading several different interns or supervisees, or hiring a bunch of folks into your practice, it might be hard to keep the schedule straight. So in addition to having these visuals of calendar, reiterating expectations, and using these tools to schedule when it comes to messages and emails and whatnot, we also need to ask our supervisors, how's it going? Is this working? Do I have your schedule correct? Is there anything that you want different? By modeling that that's okay to broach that, I think that supervisees can then say, actually, my schedule needs to change. I'm feeling overworked. I need to go down to 2 days a week. Or, hey, I'm actually feeling really full. I don't need any more cases. Thank you so much. So we're actually allowing them to tell us what's going on. Yes, it is up to them to bring that to our attention as well. But as mental health leaders, I think this is important for us to also ask about. To be able to model, it's okay to bring this up, talk about this, be forthcoming about it. That is the tip number 3 for mental health leadership or supervisors. So just to reiterate again, the tips for supervisees were to review expectations when it comes to communication, whether that's with clients or with the leader themselves, to use out-of-office messages, and to use the scheduling features to block out your calendar. Those are kind of the 3 things for supervisees. Also could apply to supervisors, if we're being honest. Then the other tips we have for supervisors are to review our own expectations of communication, use the scheduling calendar to see when your supervisees are here or not, check in on their needs, so asking for feedback, and of course, modeling for them what it looks like to have healthy boundaries in this field of work in our industry. So that could be everything from not sending an email at 10 o'clock at night to not expecting them to respond on a weekend if they're not on the clock. These are just some thoughts as we look at healthy boundaries with mental health leadership. Stay tuned for more videos. I'll see you next time.